Reality refers to the independent character and presence of anything that can be known, whether through logical deduction, empirical experiments, or any other means. Despite humanity's immense accomplishments, the true nature of reality remains a mystery. Human society continues to marvel at the enormity of the universe until the society's individuals catch hold of it, just as the predecessors did before. In contrast to what is just imagined, reality should be the sum or aggregate of everything real or prevalent inside a system. The phrase can also refer to a thing's ontological nature, which indicates its existence. In tangible expression, the reality is the completeness of a system, recognized and unidentified. Ontology is the prominent field of metaphysics in the Western philosophical domain. It is concerned with philosophical considerations about the nature of reality, presence, and prevalence. Ontological issues are also addressed in several disciplines of philosophy, such as science, mathematics, religion, and above all, philosophical logic. The true nature of reality. In-depth introspection. A third, deeper spiritual brain, in addition to the left and right sides of the human brain with its well-organized but overlapping tasks, is supposed to exist. If people don't know when to put the brakes, pondering on the nature of reality can give them a hangover. However, it's certainly worthwhile to contemplate what's true and what individuals communicate as genuine. It may lead to a better knowledge and acceptance of other people's viewpoints. Reality is what people consider to be the ultimate truth in everyday life, i.e., the constant, stable foundation for all individuals to see, feel, and perceive. If someone were to get a significant shock that rocked his world, for example, learning as an adult that he was adopted by the couple he thought were his birth parents, the reality would fluctuate greatly, and one would have to learn to adjust to a new eventuality. Numerous dramatic occurrences can alter the vision of reality and enlighten situations, wherein people have insights that allow them to break loose from the pattern of ordinary thought and perceive life in a new light. Acceptance is important in sustaining the self-universe, since what people believe to be true may simply be an illusion created by their mind, a prevalent consensus or mindsets and thought patterns derived from past encounters. Even if everyone believes in the same names of colors, some may see colors more uniquely than others and call them by the same labels. People adjust their internal gears to fit a particular reality. Although reality necessitated that the sun revolved around the earth in the medieval era, the contrary is undeniably true now. Spiritual reality. Individuals build their reality with their ideas, just like particles in quantum physics, whose appearance is dictated by the observer. They shape human attitudes and perceptions, and they impact how one sees oneself and how others see him. People develop the thought that they think of themselves as vibrant and successful. If they used to imagine themselves as an introvert, they might need to put in some effort to change their mindset. People's perceptions may differ from those of others at times. They may be startled to learn that 20 people would view them differently, as each person will have a distinct perspective based on relationship. But this approach should not alter their self-identity. One may consider himself from every angle. Like various quantum physics realities, spiritual reality is a domain of plausibility, where all solutions exist at the same time. What arises in any scenario is determined by the human perspective. People can access the source of life, where the human ability to develop possibilities can be trapped more effectively when they meditate or practice a kind of spiritual exercise. The ultimate spiritual enlightenment is one of unity, in which individuals perceive and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that everything comes from one source, and that individuals are a component of that source. All people are distinct, yet part of this total, just as everything includes the particles of the galaxy. The true nature of reality, a scientific observation. The grandeur of the night sky enthralled ancient civilizations, as indicated by their meticulous charting of planetary activities, constellations, and the orientation of the North Star. Hipparchus, 190 to 120 BC, could identify a 1.4 degree per century drift in the North Star's position. It was possible due to ancient astronomers' observations with such precision. Even though early astronomers could calculate the rate of Earth's axial tilt, they had no true knowledge of why the cosmos was constantly changing. It is because their entire concept of the solar system was fallible due to grossly misinterpreted biblical passages and anthropocentric insights on the placement of humanity in the finite universe. It's amazing how the human intellect could develop statistical equations that correctly positioned the Earth's status at the center of the solar system, while still accounting for apparent planet motion from the Earth. Nevertheless, despite various philosophical dilemmas about the fictitious calculations and the role of epicycles, Ptolemy's geocentric model, 150 to 1450, characterized planetary motion so well that it maintained the mainstream position of the solar system for over a millennium. Contemporary science has advanced to the point where it can now detect even the tiniest shift in subatomic particles and determine their movement using quantum mechanical equations. However, harmonizing quantum mechanics' philosophical ramifications with human perception of reality is just as difficult. Lauterbur and Mansfield found in the 1970s that the hydrogen protons in human bodies may cause to process in synchronization with a strong magnetic field, and then be resonant when disrupted at a particular frequency by a supplementary transverse magnetic field. The frequency of these protons all across the human body can be analyzed to pinpoint the tissue from where they originate, resulting in high-contrast pictures. When energized subatomic particles with a non-zero spin are introduced in magnetic fields, they operate like small magnets with angular velocity and undergo precession. Non-invasive magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, is based on this breakthrough principle, allowing neuroscientists to view inside the brain, surgeons to plan surgical resection, and pregnant mothers to watch their unborn baby's existence. On the other hand, subatomic particles do not actually spin or have rotational motion. MRI physics is still taught using classical principles since they are easier to understand and depict. Furthermore, because quantum physics isn't required for MRI to work, disregarding it protects professors from perceptive pupils who might challenge its philosophical quandaries. In fact, Schrödinger noted that his quantum mechanics contributions' philosophical ramifications inspired him to the notion of epicycles. The intricate mathematics of quantum physics, according to Schrödinger, could yield significant predictions, but it might not reflect what is really happening in the world. Despite humanity's immense accomplishments, the true nature of reality remains a mystery. People will continue to marvel at the immensity of the universe until they discover it, just as their ancestors did before them. The true nature of reality. Reality and perception. The human world is affected by how people interpret events. Perception is what they are fully aware of. Based on mental state, human perception can alter from time to time. It can be thought of as both subjective as well as objective reality. Subjective reality is what people see, perceive, and encounter in the existing situation, based on what is going on in life. As a result of human emotions fluctuating in response to experiences and situations, and the human body changing due to hormonal cycles that impact human life, the perceptions of reality will surely change. If people have a terrible day and waste a carton of milk, it could be the tipping point that causes men to cry. If the same thing happens when people feel strong and healthy, they'll wipe off the milk without being too upset. The spilled milk is an objective reality. It has happened without a question of hesitancy. The counter-reply to others reflects the subjective reality of how people felt then. The universal consensus of what is undeniably true is referred to as objective reality. Everyone has had the same experience or point of view. Humans cannot fly according to objective reality. This can be contradicted because certain spiritual practitioners can float and glide above the ground. However, objective reality signifies people can't walk through walls, and at the same time, the world is round. There should be no doubt about objectivity. Human beings are the universal truth that exists on the Earth planet. Is there anything more to life than this physical existence? Is there a deeper meaning to who humans are, what they do, and why they are here? There is an inherent and compelling drive within each individual to grow, get educated, ascend higher, and become more and bigger in whatever manner they opt. People put in long hours at work, struggle with bondings, and frequently push them to go further and do more with fewer efforts. But do people have any idea where they are going? Is the truth found in human yearning or their belonging, or both? What people lack in their lives, whether compassion, peacefulness, prosperity, tranquility, health, prosperity, and abundance, are perpetual motives behind human life. One may ask, why me? Or why not me? As one evaluates himself in the mirror. There are a lot of questions to answer, and with those responses there will almost certainly be follow-ups. But does it have to be this manner, or is there a complete answer, or perhaps enlightenment, that will finally put an end to the never-ending questionnaire? People should believe that silence will come when they recognize and embrace the actual nature. The true nature of reality. The state of beliefs. The five senses, vision, audio, flavor, touch, and smell, are the primary ways in which the brain interprets information from the external world. However, the subconsciousness's inner realm creates the visible world. The subconscious creates the wave patterns that make up the outside world. The physical reality in which people spend their lives results from a cooperative effort by all sentient beings that inhabit it. The breakdown of these vibrational frequencies into objective reality produces individual and group consciousness. Again, the physical reality seen and experienced is generated by the implosion of the wave function, but it is all deception in some ways or others. It helps to explain why changing practice or belief that no longer serves humans is so difficult. Human belief is shared by the communal consciousness and subconsciousness of all persons who share the set of beliefs. The reality people live in is a consensus reality. It is a grid of wave patterns, belief patterns, cognition, and emotions that, when combined, produce the shape of the universe people see around them. Moreover, the belief system, or matrix, has its own awareness concerned with its survival. It ensures its preservation by disseminating symbols, analogies, and allegorical inputs that imprint immediately in the subconscious minds of those who inhabit that reality. It not only ensures the maintenance of the matrix reality, but it also confirms and enhances the majority's belief states inside of it. Intuition usually wins when a person's conscious aspirations and ambitions clash with their subconscious beliefs. The mental and bodily disease is the outcome of this dichotomy. Accidents and addictions, wrath and law-breaking attitudes, and other social evils are all side effects of this split between human conscious wishes and subconscious beliefs. Several strategies have been proposed to alter human beliefs, to improve lives and make it easier to achieve the goals. Neurosemantics, NLP, cognitive therapy, rebirthing, the Sedona method, Scientology, HUNA, affirmations, meditation, and other transformation modalities are among them. Each of them achieves success with some people, but fails miserably with others. Nothing seems to work with some people, according to the evidence. It could be because the specific beliefs are too deeply embedded and intertwined to be easily dislodged. The conditions of human lives are built around the beliefs people hold. Each belief serves as a filter or frame by which one forms his understanding of life's reality. Frames don't exist in a vacuum. Instead, each frame functions in tandem with others of its like. These belief systems are the foundation upon which physical reality is built. The true nature of reality. The positive reflections. The Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu's fundamental canonical source, discusses the route to obtaining serenity and contentment by leading a well-balanced and righteous life. The passage that applies the concept of advaita, or non-dualism, is supposed to investigate the nature of the human soul in determining the truth of reality. This focus on advaita, or non-dualism, is what distinguishes the Bhagavad Gita from all other religious doctrines. Several religions make passing references to reincarnation, but Hinduism speaks openly about it, as proven by the passage from the Bhagavad Gita. The entire text is in Sanskrit, which is an ancient script and renowned as the gods' language because the writing is full of exquisite divine thoughts that appear to last forever. Of all the thousands of languages spoken on the planet, it is possibly the most elegant, engaging, and spiritual. For instance, the word shloka, which is translated as verse, really refers to a line that, when sung, alleviates misery. There is no such thing as a long-lasting phase in life. In old age, various physical problems arise, causing a great deal of agony. There's also a dearth of physical elegance and appeal. The body appears to be unattractive. An elderly man's acquaintances, relatives, wife, and children abandon him during that vital moment. All of his family members mock him and call him a freak. While needs and afflictions get stronger as people age, physical charm, physical talents, and the working of sense organs deteriorate, and people become more reliant on others. Here, the positive aspects of the true nature of reality may come in handy. There is only peace and salvation in the big picture in terms of self-realization. Peace comes through self-appraisal. Human differences are the only unwanted elements that have triggered instability, unrest, and war for their own ends. War is not a natural state of affairs. Everything is as it should be when viewed from a larger perspective, the Creator. Inner peace is always open to those who wish to enjoy it, and repentance is not required. Devoid of emotional energy is the God. People loiter in a mass of mental energy, and they are separate components of that body, similar to how a wave is to the ocean. Humans can never be at war because there can only be a conflict with another aspect of themselves. All are one in the larger picture. Every phase of human life is packed with instability, yet people inculcate the habit of not paying attention to it until they are aware of it. Shouldn't it be the first human thought of impermanence when one wakes up in the morning? It's definitely beyond human control. However, a night has passed, and instability has loomed over everything from any corner since that time. Can people make an argument to the contrary? Is there anything that does not change over time? When one leaves the room, the moment has passed. It never returns. Who knows if the time will come back? When people think of impermanence, the first thing that strikes their mental awareness is Buddhism. Have they ever contemplated self-mortality or the ability to adapt to varied situations? Have people ever noticed how uncertainty wreaks havoc on well-being? Why is it the case? Why is permanence so critical for the human psyche? Permanence, which does not exist in itself, is given strength by the human mind. Mental introspection is the best weapon for observing and comprehending the mind's tricks on the ultimate reality strength. The underlying essence of reality is impermanence and mutability. It is possible to discover attachment to form, patterns, aromas, hues, and emotional traits by a progressive practice of introspection, evaluation, and dispel the desire to get associated with mutual bonding. Would anybody be willing to sit and witness the subconscious mind tricks every day, even if only for a few moments, Perhaps one would be hesitant, since it may take the entire attention away from more important business hazards. Meditation is an effective training guideline for the mind to settle down, slow down the tempo, and focus on the true nature of reality and uncertainty, no matter how absurd it may look. Like clouds floating in the sky, human thoughts pass by and shape over time. Something that drew people's attention in the past, perhaps compulsively at times, becomes obsolete. Individual opinion shifts, emotions wobble, and the tension subsides. According to neuroscientific research, meditation is not only a mind training tool, but also a wellness power source for the human brain, as it stimulates a process termed neurogenesis, or the synthesis of new neurons. It suggests that simply educating the mind to practice mindfulness can develop new neurons in the long-term lifespan with just 10 minutes of time devotion each day. The true nature of reality is outward manifestations of change, and sitting down with constant punctuality for meditation has tremendous reconstructive effects on the human brain, which may help maintain a healthy frame of mind in the big scheme of things. Isn't it true that humans live in their minds? Even a healthy person has a mind that requires the same mental abilities and wellness level as his body. Reality can be expressed in terms of ways of thinking or constituents of conceptual frameworks. All elements, structures, physical and mental, happenings, past and present, and events, whether perceptible or not, make up reality. It's what a world perspective, whether based on personal or shared human experience, tries to describe or represent in the end.